Welcome to Spinal Life Takeaways. These are bite-sized segments, jam-packed full of information, delivered to you at home or on a date. We want to give you fast food for thought from our experienced staff at Spinal Life Australia to give you a tease of what we can do for you. So let's talk about relationships. Today we have Deb Dent. She's our community nurse here at Spinal Life Australia. She has a wealth of knowledge, having spent 10 years in the spinal injuries unit. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure.
We want to take some time and talk about Valentine's Day. And I guess sometimes it can strike a bit of fear in the hearts of some people, thinking maybe this is not for me. Relationships can be really scary, especially after someone's had a spinal cord injury. When it comes to relationships, how do you as a community nurse bring this up with any of your clients?
Well, we normally do an initial meet and greet, and I will have various discussions about all sorts of things, not just relationships, but lots of things. And so I'll help guide them through the process of what a relationship can look like post spinal cord injury. And then I find that will always encourage more questions and answers, and we can certainly talk about a lot of range of things and discuss any issues that they have.
Yeah, because it can be quite scary after having a spinal cord injury. You kind of find yourself building your whole life back up again, and sometimes relationships really do get put to the side. You're not sure how to get close to somebody or how to ask somebody to come in and give you a hug. Yeah. So those kind of conversations are really necessary.
And like previous to the spinal cord injury, it was something that came very natural. But so now where they have to perhaps have other lines of communication, having open and clear conversations with either their life partner or family or friends, so that they can express themselves and let them know how they feel and what they would like.
Yeah, definitely. Just asking for a hug, I always find that's really good for me to say, come on down, come and give me a hug. When it comes to rehabilitation, we find that, you're still the same person. We just need to find new ways of doing things. We still have the same wants and needs. We love to do things, but we just need to find those ways that work for us, and everybody's different. And the same happens when it comes to relationships and sex. How do you help people in these conversations about engaging in sex, or even just right at the beginning of being able to just have a date, maybe flirt a bit?
Yeah. Like with everything, it comes down to communication. So I always tell my clients there's a million ways to skin a cat. So we're just looking for new ways to adapt to be able to make whatever you want to happen a success.
Yeah, absolutely. So something as simple as being able to have a chat about, maybe we can't go out to a restaurant tonight. We can stay home and have a home cooked meal, or I guess it's finding what works for you and what it is that you like.
Yeah, it could be as simple as getting somebody else to take care of the washing up of the morning, so that when you get home you don't have to rush and get in to do chores, and you can concentrate on being the person that you want to be with your partner.
Which is really sort of taking it back further to just being able to, be what you want to be for another human being as well in that relationship. So, you can share the load, and you can still be able to be intimate in so many different ways.
As important as it is being there for your partner, it's also really important to have the self-belief in yourself, to make sure that you're comfortable in what might be going to happen, so that you can be at ease with yourself and make decisions.
I know when I'm speaking to my patients, and from my own lived experience as well, being in that space and doing these things for the first time, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know how things are going to respond. And it does come down to being able to have someone like you to kind of talk it out, and maybe come up with a few ideas to help feel a little bit more confident, to at least try. It's not always going to go smoothly. But as long as you've got somewhere that you can reach out and go, hey, look, this is what I was trying for, but it didn't work, if you've got a couple of ideas. Yeah. After having a spinal cord injury, you're getting used to your body's changes in the way that it's reacting under different circumstances. How do you have these conversations again with people, for example, like nerve pain? Like, how has your body changed, and how is that going to help or not help when it comes to having sex?
So there are a lot of issues that come with the spinal cord injury. So there's autonomic dysreflexia, there's your spasms, there's neuropathic pain. All of these things we have to take in consideration when we want to, go forth and have a sexual relation. So we discuss all of those sorts of things, so we can put in plans in place so that you don't go dysreflexic, because nobody actually wants to do that when they're having the time of their life. Exactly. They don't want to be having AD. So, and it's about altered sensations. So perhaps below your level of injury, you don't feel the same things that you used to feel. So you might have, some people have erogenous zones where they'll just touch the back of their neck, which feels so beautiful and sensual and lovely. So they can you can still have those feelings, but they're just not going to be exactly the same as what they were previously.
So this is again why sometimes you need to take your time through this, because you do need to find out more about yourself, and then you need to communicate again with your partner or whoever it is that you're with. How you're going to respond and whether that's going to be good or bad. There are so many different types of relationships out there, and while Valentine's Day could be for people who are together, but there are people out there that are dating, so they're not currently together, but they're looking for people. How do you encourage people to get out there?
It is a big ask for somebody who has had a recent injury, like any of us, to really put yourself out there and say, hey, I'm here, I'd like to really meet a really lovely person, and how do we go about that? So there's many ways. So, you can look at online dating. You can...
I think that's a great idea. No, I do. Because, I think when you've had a spinal cord injury, sometimes you do feel like you've lost a part of yourself. And it's and spending a lot of time in rehabilitation and sort of starting to get to know yourself, you find yourself in a position where maybe a little bit of online dating will help you rebuild a little bit about yourself. Maybe you don't want to say that you have a disability. Just, so when someone says, what do you like to do on the weekends? You're like, I don't know. I don't know what I like to do. I forgot who I was. So it gives you that opportunity.
Absolutely. So, like sometimes people are in the spinal unit for 12 months and they forget who they once were. And so it does take a lot for that person to regroup and put themselves out there. So don't limit yourself. It really does take a big ask for you to put yourself out there in the community, and just to accept who you are, and that you are a great person, and that people would just love to be with you.
Very true. That's so true. And again, that comes down to that confidence and having that time to be able to look within and realize that you are the same cool person you were before you had your injury. Nothing about you has really changed. We're just, there's some circumstances we're dealing with. But, you also have an amazing opportunity ahead if you're willing to put yourself out there for it. Also, it can be a bit hard. There is, in dating is rejection. It's hand in hand, and being able to keep a check, I guess, on your mental health. Yeah.
And, just work through things. So some people don't disclose that they have, if they're doing online chatting, they don't disclose that they have a spinal cord injury, because they just want to feel like the normal person that they were.
Just build up that confidence.
So they can just start chatting to people online, and one thing can lead to another, and before you know it, they're out on a date with somebody and having a great time.
One of the biggest concerns that a lot of people after having their injury can come across is the having to prepare all the time, and the loss of all this spontaneity. How do you get around that? And is there really a loss of spontaneity, or is there too much planning? What's going on here?
Look, I think there is a loss of
spontaneity.
I can't say that word. I'll start again. I think there is a loss of spontaneity when it comes to actual sexual function and intercourse, unfortunately. But we can certainly pre-plan. I know that doesn't sound romantic at all, but there's a lot that you can do before to to ease this, the lack of spontaneity. Yeah. For instance, if you need to take Viagra or you need to have an injection to maintain an erection, while that is underway, there's a lot of other things that you could be doing so that you not just waiting for an erection to happen, so you can be a lot more sensual with each other. It can be feathers, it can be candles and all of those sorts of things that can help elevate the mood. Doing all the other things that you can still be spontaneous in touching your partner and asking your partner to touch you in a way that you like. So those things can still be spontaneous. But that physical act of sexual intercourse needs a little bit of planning so that you can achieve the desired results.
Yeah, so it's sort of like opening your mind a little bit more and incorporating more into your repertoire. During one of your consultations, what can somebody expect as far as being able to get down to this nitty-gritty details to help somebody feel empowered about their sexuality and their relationships moving forward?
So no topic is taboo. It's amazing some of the things that we discuss. So it really opens up their eyes as to what they're capable of, what they can do. So some of it might be the assistive technology that's in the marketplace. So
there's so much.
And there is so much. So we can also do assistive technology through the NDIS or the other insurance schemes as well. So certainly there is funding available for these items, but it's also other things about the health and well-being. So if you suffer from autonomic dysreflexia, if you ejaculate, sometimes that can cause an AD episode. So it's giving clients all of the information that they need so that they can make informed decisions on how they want to move forward with their sexual encounters.
Thank you so much for spending some time today talking about sex and relationships. If anything that you've heard today makes you think maybe it's time to make an appointment with one of our community nurse specialists, I'm sure spending some time with Deb will really get some information for you to feel like you can be confident and move forward. Call our customer engagement team today. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you again for another episode of Takeaways.